okay? Everyone have a good weekend? Yeah? Anything fun happen? We are talking all things Star Wars Celebration today. Oh my god, we have announcements, we have excitement, we got new Star Wars movies! Wes, punch it! Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Living Force, a Youtini Network podcast all about Star Wars Celebration. I'm one of your hosts, Eric Eilerson, and joining me tonight to talk all the things that we learned in London this weekend is the full crew, starting off with Dr. Corey Helton. How you doing, man?
What is crack-a-lackin', my friends? I am back in the hotel room this week again, following Celebration Sunday night. I drove out here. I'm in Lenore, North Carolina. Once again, my video is dramatically lagging behind my audio because I have a whopping 15 megabits per second download speed. I got to go off of audio cues tonight. So if you ask me a question, you better say my name first.
I'm excited about it. I think it's going to be great. You know who has their normal video lag, though? It's the heir to the empire himself. It's Dr. Charles Hankel.
That's right. I changed nothing, but we're still struggling, guys. That's just kind of the MO. Just kind of the MO. But I'm happy to be here. I'm really tired after Celebration. I don't know about you guys. It's really hard to watch all those live streams consecutively like that. So
yeah, it is.
Man.
You did what you could. I appreciate your effort. But you know who doesn't need effort because he has natural skill, natural gifts, and the natural prowess to do everything he needs for this show and life. Mr. Wes Jenkins, welcome, sir.
Hey, yeah, good stream.
Good stream.
I was
Good
pleasantly
weekend.
surprised that they actually had it early, but I mean, it was normal time in London, but 6 a.m. to about, say, noon to 1 o'clock was awesome. It's usually like,
Yeah.
you lost. I
That's
mean, you were
ideal.
sitting there the whole day, and like you
Yep.
blew through half of it just like in the morning and going through like your morning coffee or whatever. So, I liked it. I was a big fan. I'm not sure about next or in 2 years, but we'll talk
Yeah.
about that later.
Yeah, no, the time change really wasn't bad for me like I thought. I did get up at 5:30 the first 2 days and kind of jumped in our Slack and talked to the staff about stuff that was happening. And then you're right, Wes. Then I went to work and I just kind of had a day still.
Yeah.
But I was energized from it, so very excited. Of course, everyone, Star Wars Celebration London was or Star Wars Celebration Europe, which was in London. See, it happened, and I'm still calling it wrong. It's a whole phase wave thing all over again. We are going to talk tonight about everything that was revealed. I'm wearing my Celebration shirt. Hold on.
Oh yeah.
It is beautiful.
There you go, audio listeners. I
Wait,
pulled it up.
I still
and it
can't
wasn't
see
pretty.
it. Still can't see
Okay.
it. All right, now I can see it. Oh yeah, that's a good shirt, bro.
Well done, Corey, on that lag. We're going to walk
Can't
through
wait to
everything
go
that-
through all these pictures with Corey.
So many pictures. Corey's going to be hanging out for dear life. Before we do, though, I want to say welcome to everyone watching and listening to the show. Of course, if you're watching us on YouTube, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel for all the goodness that is always coming out, including our Cataclysm review that dropped last week on this channel. Make sure to check that out. And, of course, if you're on your audio podcast catcher of choice, if you haven't given us a review yet, that's fine. Celebration was busy. But you know what? Now's a great time to start that. It would make us very, very happy. But not as happy as our April Community Initiative, which is our Youtini Cosplay Initiative. Make sure you go to the Youtini Cosplay Discord channel or tag your photos with hashtag Youtini Cosplay. Just like two very special people that I would love to highlight tonight. Wes, if you could grab Pamela's picture, that would be great. Pamela, just as the immaculate Dr. freaking Afra. This is a slightly older picture with an awesome Cad Bane as well. Pamela's an amazing person in our community and Discord all the time. And this Afra is sick as hell. I love look at the tattoos you see on her elbow.
Yeah.
She
I know,
drew
that's
them all
fantastic.
on.
Pretty
That's spot on.
Well, I assume
All
she
right.
drew them.
All right, Charles. I said
All
it
right.
first.
Well, Wes, that was spot on. Is she holding a holocron?
Yeah.
Yes, she is.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
Very awesome. Very creative. Loved that. And then, of course, our very own team member. Alexander, who is a High Republic Jedi at Celebration this weekend. This was day one of Alexander's 2-day hand-embroidered, hand-stitched High Republic cosplay.
Yeah.
Look at that.
These are insane because we got to see kind of like a step-by-step process. He shared a lot of the photos as he was making the costume, and it was really, really impressive. Like, this is a great picture, and even this picture doesn't do it justice. I feel like you'd have to see some of the other ones, or see it in person would have been even better.
Didn't somebody say in Slack earlier that he made it into the recap video or something?
He did. I saw him. I watched that recap video today. That's sick. Fantastic.
The embroidery on his cosplay there has all of the. It just looks like a gold robe, right? But if you look pretty like in the details, that has all of like the logo, the High Republic that's in. It's like pretty impressive. It's almost it is custom made. It's freaking awesome.
Yes, I absolutely love it. Of course, the cosplay was on full display this past weekend at Star Wars Celebration. So everyone, make sure you keep sending in your cosplay pictures to the Youtini Cosplay Discord channel, or tag them #Youtini Cosplay, and we will feature them on the show. Only a couple life updates for us, because obviously we have a ton to talk about. But Charles, you had a particularly special week last week. Tell the good folks what happened to you and what you celebrated, why don't you?
You know what happened?
What's that?
Cataclysm happened, because I'm 30 years old now. Look how old I've become.
Old man alert.
Oh, your
old man
bones.
That's
your
right.
Old
Yes.
bones and
No,
your liver
that's-
spots coming through.
That's really the extent of it. I took 3 days off of work. I had a surprise dinner that Nicole organized that was phenomenal.
Wow.
I saw my family. I went to the beach. I had a good old time, man. I had a good old time.
Nice.
So I'm feeling rested and recharged.
Happy
Not really. I'm
birthday,
feeling
man.
old and tired as hell.
That's right.
Happy
F's in the chat for
belated.
Charles is back.
Happy birthday, old man.
Nice.
Thank you, sir.
Happy birthday, buddy. And then Wes, I would be remiss if I didn't ask you, what additional piece of technological brilliance did you make this week? Because it seems like every week you're putting us all to shame with what you're creating over there.
Well, I swear, this is the last one. This is the
No,
last
yeah,
one
right.
that I'm gonna
No,
build.
it's not.
Oh, that one is.
I just
pretty.
got
that's
this has
pretty.
Darth Vader
Wow.
escape key right there in gold. See there?
Sick.
Yeah,
really
I
good.
swear it's the last one. I waited these keycaps. I waited for over a year for.
This is a mechanical
Over
keyboard that he's holding
year.
up.
Yeah, sorry,
Yeah.
I didn't even say that. Like for audio listeners, I have a mechanical keyboard. I got into it during the pandemic like an idiot. Please don't get into this hobby. It is so stupid, and I know it's stupid. Yet I keep doing it. But
How many do you have now?
shit, I'm about to sell another one. I have 5.
Oh my
Oh man,
God.
which one don't you want for like about $20? Let me know.
I'm pretty sure I get credit for this. I think I'm the
You
one that
do.
introduced you to this hobby.
You do.
I didn't
You
know
absolutely
what
do.
that was that you held up. You held up your mechanical keyboard to the camera, and you were like, "Look, it makes clicky clack sounds." And I was like, "Do you plug that in or something?" You're like, "Yes, Wes, you plug it in." And I had no clue.
Oh, wait,
No
Wes,
clue.
give us a clicky clack test. Can you hold up to the mic?
Oh, it's
Yeah?
it's disgusting.
Come on,
Hold on.
come on.
It's so low.
Nothing's
we can't
coming
even hear
out.
it. It's not
That
picking it up on the
fuck.
mic.
Fuck, that's what they call it.
Fuck.
A thought? I don't like that.
Listen, this is supposed to be a PG-13 podcast. I don't know what you're saying.
Can't just talk into the microphone.
What is this, a Battle Scars roundtable? Come on now.
So,
Go
yes,
fuck
this
yourself,
is
Wes.
the second to last one that I'm going to build. I swear.
What? 2 seconds ago was the last one.
Like I just bought this one, so I have to take it
Oh my
apart and put it in a
God.
nicer case.
Ridiculous.
I love
That's
that,
what I
Wes.
did. Those are my life updates of the week.
Don't be too proud of this technological terror you've created.
Because you'll build another one next week.
That's right.
Well, I'm glad for you, buddy. But I'm also glad for you, Teeny, every day, but especially when it does good things for our Patreon community at patreon.com/Youtini. Thank you to everyone over there. And I have a quick announcement, rather a plead, an ask, if you will. As Corey and Emma very dexterously created a Patreon event for the first quarter of the year, the next Patreon event for the next quarter of the year is mine. It's my own, my precious. However, I have I have no idea what to do, guys. Straight up with you. I want to do what you want me to do. So if you'd be so kind in the comments of this video, in our Discord channels in the Living Force, on Twitter, whatever you like, what as patrons would you like from me? Would you like me to host a viewing party, a Lego build, a trivia thing, something I haven't even thought of? I need ideas.
Sell one Funko a day.
I'm not contractually obligated to do anything Charles or anyone else says.
Virtual
I would love your
dunk
ideas.
tank. Virtual dunk tank.
Virtual dunk tank. I like
don't
that.
have
I don't
one
know
of
what
those
it
yet.
means. But
We'll get you one.
Yeah, but instead of a big pool of water, we should use like a pool with like electric eels.
Jesus, Corey. Well, hey, everything has a price. Let us know what you'd like to do at our new Patreon event and to go to patreon.com/Youtini to join in the fun. All right, before we go to celebration, because we're getting through everything quick so we can talk about all the news, I have one very important thing to share. You may have already seen it behind me, but Wes, I do believe it deserves a Star Wars Weekly Roundup.
It's the Star Wars Weekly Roundup.
All right, very recently, we got a reference book release from our friends at Insight Editions, and my copy did just arrive. I want to thank our friends from Insight for sending it over. This is The Chronicles of the Jedi, which is the in-universe High Republic reference book written by Cole Horton. And I gotta say, and illustrations by Yi Young Lee. This is not hyperbolic. I've read through this book this weekend. This is the most gorgeous, comprehensive reference book I have read so far, period.
Yeah.
What this is, guys, is this is essentially telling the story of phases 1 and 2 of the High Republic as told by an in-universe Jedi, but all the art looks like this.
Mhm.
It's gorgeous artwork. Lee absolutely smashes it, and every bit of it, this is a little bit from phase 2 in the Battle of Jedi, for instance, and every bit of it is drawn with the same brush. So if you're like me and you've had a little bit of trouble maybe linking some of the events in the young adult books to the comics, to the adult novels, things like that, the unified art style of Lee, along with Cole Horton's descriptions, really help it to all feel like a singular universe, if you know what I mean. And for those that may be used to reference books that have like a little less, or a lot of art and a little less description, kind of like Art of the High Republic by Baber, things like that, this one does have gorgeous double-page spreads, but it has a lot of text. And it's interesting, because as someone who's read every single part of the High Republic so far, I was still looking at spreads like this, Loden and Bell, the goats, and being intrigued by the stories that I already read, because Horton doesn't just rewrite the narration, things like that. He really treats it as a living history and a living document, which could be cheesy, but his skill with writing actually makes it severely intriguing. And if you are like me, and you've read a couple books since the end of phase 1, and you don't remember everything in phase 1, this is a fantastic recap guide. Obviously, people like us at Youtini will be recapping the phases as we get to phase 3 later on in the year, but I would highly, highly, highly recommend picking this up, not only because it's gorgeous. I mean, this is like a pseudo leather-bound grab here, but it's also just a really nice, compact way to re-experience the events in a whole new way. So I love a lot of the Star Wars reference books. 10 out of 10. It is out now. Lando in the chat, great question. Does this have spoilers for the second half of phase 2? Ooh. This has spoilers through the end of the Battle of Jeddah and through the end of Charles Soule's The Blade.
Nice.
So if you haven't finished the Blade comic, do that. It's great. It has finished by now, by the time of this release. It does have spoilers for that. It has slight spoilers for, I don't even think Cataclysm had the spoilers that I read there. It's mostly phase 1 spoilers. Like our favorite scene in The Rising Storm, anyone?
Nice.
Getting a
Riding
double
the
page
dragon.
spread here.
Nice.
So yeah, overall, I can always recommend, if you're a collector of the reference books, to grab the art, to grab. If not, if you've never read a reference book before, I would say pick this up.
Nice.
That's what I got.
Yeah.
That's my highest recommendation. I was excited for this one, but I was truly blown away by the simple quality of it. Well done.
Yeah, if
Yeah,
anything, if anything, it catches you up, right? Because I'm sure,
Yes.
as a lot of people have read the books, but they only read them once, and they,
Yep.
That's right.
A lot of
finer
books.
details are still in there, but you need a refresher. And
Yeah.
if you have a lot of walnuts lying around, that book looks like it can crack shit out of them.
Absolutely. A utilitarian need. Thank you, Wes, for obviously knowing what's going on.
I bought this book actually. It's the first physical book I have purchased in like 2 years, I think. And
It's a great choice.
yeah, I bought it. I'm excited
Yeah.
to flip through this. I got here today, so I got the Amazon notification. It didn't come in time for me to take it on my trip, but that's okay.
That's the thing is I stopped buying reference books, but I think I actually might get that one.
Yeah,
Charles,
I need a
just
good
come
recap
over.
of phase 1, especially as we're coming into
Yeah.
phase 3, which we're going to talk about.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be great. All right, so thank you to our friends at Insight. Insight continues to put out, I think, some of the most unique. They also put out like the lightsaber collection book that came out. They're going to do the High Republic lightsaber book. They do a lot of interesting projects. So absolutely love them, and I'm glad they're continuing to publish. All right, let's dive into it. This weekend, Star Wars Celebration Europe happened. It was massive. It was wild. We had some friends on the ground. Unfortunately, none of the 4 of us were able to go, but we followed along with everything. Before we do, huge shout out to our friends on the ground who were covering the whole celebration thing. Trevor, Frank, Carl, Alexander, Freddie. Everyone was giving us info back home, and the content team, spearheaded by Emma and JG, were putting together articles and coverage and live tweets going from like coast to coast, international place to the domestic U.S. It was a huge undertaking, and make sure you go to youtini.com to read the recaps of what happened. But if you'd like to hear what happened from our mouths, I guess that's your choice. Let's dive into day 1, the Lucasfilm Showcase panel. Kind of the premiere panel every celebration. And we're going to do something a little uncouth here, guys. I wanted to go chronological through the announcements in the panel. I think that's better. I think it's a good format. But we're getting new Star Wars movies!
Holy shit.
3
Holy
movies
shit. I don't think
announced.
No.
I don't think this was not on my bingo card. None of these announcements from my bingo
No.
card. I cannot freaking believe it. Straight
Well,
up. I just
Eric-
cannot freaking believe it.
Eric asked us, I think at the end of last week's show, like, are they going to announce a movie? And I
Unbelievable.
said no.
We're like, no
Said
way.
no.
And
No
they
way.
did more than that. 3 movies, and the
3 movies.
specifics are really exciting too, which I know we're about to get into.
Yes. So we have 3 movies. We'll list them briefly, and then we'll tackle them one by one. So there are 3 new Star Wars movies that got announced with directors attached, and one with a very prevalent star. The first movie that got announced is a Dawn of the Jedi era film directed by James Mangold, who recently directed Indiana Jones 5, also directed the movie Logan, the Wolverine film, Ford vs. Ferrari, a couple other great movies. We then had an Imperial Remnant / Mandoverse movie that's going to be directed by Dave Filoni, his live-action film debut. And then we had a new Jedi Order movie directed by Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy of Miss Marvel fame, starring Jedi Master Daisy Ridley, returning as Rey to continue the saga. So,
Mind blowing. Genuinely mind blowing.
I did not know that James Mangold directed Ford versus Ferrari. I literally watched that last week for the
I
first
knew
time.
you were hung up on that as
Yep.
soon as Eric said it.
It's
could see
so
in your
good.
eyes.
I know. I'm in my racing stage of life right now, and
Yep.
it was fantastic. I can't believe this. I think not only is this massive that we got just movie announcements in general, it's also 3 incredibly unique, out of left field projects. Like,
Yep.
I don't think that they could have announced anything to make me more happy. Like, this is perfect.
Yes.
We're going back to like Old Republic era, basically, right? Really pre-Old Republic,
Yeah.
honestly.
Well, Wes, would you mind putting up the timeline graphic that I put
Yes.
in? Because the Old Republic was mentioned, Corey, as now an
was.
official era on the timeline.
is.
But we
It's
are
an
going before that to
official
Dawn
era.
of the Jedi.
Yeah, we do already have it in progress on the team. The database team's already talked about it. We do need to add these new eras to our timeline, which is crazy to think about. Not only are we adding new eras, we're adding 3. So
3 new eras.
crazy. Dawn of the Jedi is new too. This would be the
Yes.
furthest back we've ever gone in the timeline.
25,000 years, which is right around the time the Legends book took place.
Yeah.
If you listen to the Legends Look Back Roundtable, they recently did on that book. How timely! We didn't have an inside source, but
And the
that's
title,
funny.
title of the book is literally Dawn of the Jedi, is it not?
Yeah.
I know, it
I
is.
just want to know, will this bitch be a Jedi? in the movie.
Oh yeah,
Remember that?
that was that book, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
But for our audio listeners, a
forgot
couple
about
things
that.
I wanted to mention here. On this timeline, if you haven't seen it, you know that all of the eras, both in the front of the books now and on our Youtini website, have a symbol, which is great. They have a circular symbol mostly. Then the High Republic has like the fanned out symbol. We now got the Old Republic has the symbol that is in the game, similar to one that you've seen before. And the Dawn of the Jedi symbol I really love because it is exactly that mural image on the floor in Octo in The Last Jedi with the original Jedi. That is exactly what this image is. So,
Wow. I didn't know that.
because of that, guys, James Mangold didn't say a lot, obviously, about the film, but did say this is going to be a, quote, biblical epic like the Ten Commandments and influenced by Ben-Hur. Oh, my God.
That's wild. That's just wild. This is maybe the most unique project I've ever heard that they've even
Yes.
pitched and to be a Star Wars film. I just can't believe it. Like
Yep. A Prime Jedi, Jacob,
Ben-Hur,
thank
what
you,
a
Prime
hell
Jedi.
of a inspiration. Like seriously.
Mhm.
Thank you, Giant Head Corey. Talking about Dawn of the Jedi, it makes me want to read the Legends book now to see how accurate or how similar those books will be. Not saying that they will, but some kind of reference point would be neat. And I was talking about this with a girlfriend Bethany, and I was like, there's two different eras now, or two different eras. So New Jedi Order, Dawn of the Jedi. There was a book in Legends called Dawn of the Jedi, but I think you need to read all of the New Jedi Order before we actually see this. And she was like, I think I can do that. And I was like, all right, you said it.
New
What did you
Jedi Order.
say? She said
Oh my God.
It is
Night-
really interesting though. They could have called these eras anything they wanted, and they very
Exactly.
specifically used
Oh, yeah, they're honoring it.
Legends terminology, which is not to
Definitely.
say that they're gonna just make
But they don't
the
care
Old
about the
Republic
source
video
material,
game.
Charles.
I know. Those people are out there probably screaming, turning off this podcast as we speak. But I mean, that was
I
a
don't
very
care.
conscious.
I don't want them to
that was a
listen
very
to it.
conscious decision, right? So,
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I think they are going to be pulling elements from it. I've never read Dawn of the Jedi. I read a lot of the New Jedi Order. I played a lot of the Old Republic stuff and read a lot of those novels as well. So, I mean, I'm excited to see what they do pull in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me too.
Mhm.
It's gonna be cool. I assume I assume this is gonna be really trippy. I think there's probably gonna be a lot of trippiness to it, like kind of World
Yep.
Between Worlds feeling. I hope so. Brought to live action too. Movie's got a lot of potential. I just can't believe this. 3 unique projects like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and Mangold, I mean, we've heard so many good things about Indy 5, right? I mean, there's a reason Harrison
Oh, the
Ford
trailer
came
looks
back.
so good.
Their trailers have looked great. The footage was great. I mean, they showed I think 8 minutes of footage at the end of the Lucasfilm panel, and people said it was amazing. Harrison Ford came back, which I think says enough about it, right?
Yeah.
And Mangold clearly had a good enough time working on it that they're like, cool, do Star Wars now. And I love the scope of it, because I think that's one of the things that we've loved so much about Star Wars, but have kind of been missing a little lately, is the grand galactic scope. And when he's
Agreed.
talking epic, we want to go to the beginning of the Jedi. I can't wait for that. And then I think that's almost interestingly inversed with the second movie that got announced, which is the Imperial Remnant / Mandoverse finale movie directed by Filoni. Now, this was said, Filoni did a couple subsequent interviews and things like that this is kind of acting as possibly the end of the Mandoverse story arcs. This is kind of like the Avengers film. That's because remember they said it was all going towards a TV event, we thought, but I think it sounds to me like now this is going to be the movie that is going to be the culmination of Mando, Ahsoka, Book of Boba Fett, etc. on a movie budget.
It's so smart.
Yeah.
God,
Directed by
everybody's
Dave Filoni.
so invested in
Yes.
all of these Disney TV series, and
Yep.
to get the payoff, you have to pay the ticket price to see it.
I know.
Oh, it's just an AMC
It's-
A-list reservation, Wes. It's fine. It's nothing to
Well,
me.
what's interesting is I don't know if this is true. I just saw this on Twitter, but I saw a quote attributed
has
to
to be true.
Kathleen Kennedy that said this was 5 to 7 years down the road, and I was like,
yeah.
holy
I didn't see that.
moly! Because again, I don't know if that's true, but if it
Come out,
is,
Charles.
does that mean they're keeping Mando going that whole time, or would it
Or at
just
least this
kind of hand
universe?
off the baton to
Yeah.
Ahsoka and these subsequent shows? I mean,
Yeah.
that
don't
really surprised me.
Well, we had 2 years between seasons of Mando, so if they do with Medicine 3 another 2 years, that 2 years then the movie, conceptually it could
yeah.
happen. I think it's interesting because we've been slightly cooler on this season of Mandalorian, and I think part of it is that we have started to really see the volumification of it. We've started to see kind of the smaller stakes of it, and I think what a great way to take this universe and explode it out. I mean, seeing the N1 flying around in Rogue One budget visuals, that sounds awesome. And Pedro Pascal might actually be on set.
I'm still warm. I'm still warm on this season, man.
Yeah, that is true. That's true. I don't want to put you in a box. But that's exciting. And I also think at a personal level, it's so fun to see Dave Filoni come as a guy who came onto Clone Wars and was just an animated guy that wanted to help out, meet George Lucas, create a universe, came to Mando, created live action Star Wars, built that, gets to make an Ahsoka series based on his favorite character, and now after 2 decades of crafting Star Wars as we know it, he's going to get a feature film. It's just kind of cool to see he put in the work, you know?
It's a big deal. It's a big deal. Although the only downside of this is we're never going to free and hear the end. If it's good, we're never going to hear the end of how Filoni should be in charge and
the woman who gave him the job in the movie should be fired.
I know. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
This is a big deal, though. This is a big deal, and we haven't mentioned yet that they name dropped Imperial Remnant when they were talking about this too, which is a massive deal. I mean, that's like straight out of Legends to call it the Imperial Remnant. It was super, super cool. This entire panel was just filled with Legends stuff, by the way. Like, all this timeline stuff. They name dropped Heir to the Empire. Like, I just can't in the trailer. Like, we got to talk about that in a little bit. But yeah, Imperial Remnant is fantastic. I've seen a lot of like new stuff. Like, I saw a meme featuring Jag and Jaina from Legends on Instagram.
Wow.
Just casually. And I'm just like, are we going to see a massive resurgence of, this era of Legends lore has kind of been a little untouched because there's a lot of not amazing storytelling that happens in this era in Legends. So, but like, it'd be exciting to see it all come back into the limelight again, the way that Thrawn has.
Yeah. Did somebody finally break through that wall and was like, everybody, we have a whole like era. We have all these details and stories that are been told before. I mean, we could tap into that. It's already been told. We don't have to like make it from scratch. We have
I think
access.
it's been happening. I think that's the thing.
I think it has been too.
It has.
I think Mandalorian was the test. Given it was the first live action show, but like it was a weird and unique and like individual thing, and here we are now. We're experimenting for real with the big budget stuff, which is what I was hoping was going to happen with the sequel trilogy, but they didn't want to take those risks, and these are massive risks. Like, this is like fantastic.
Could be massive Grisk. Who knows?
Oh, stop it.
Eric.
two chat comments that I want to highlight, and then Wes, I want you to introduce the last film, of course.
Yes.
Lando in the chat says, saw an interview with Filoni where he said the Battle of Coruscant from Revenge of the Sith was an inspiration for his movie.
Oh.
So if that tells you anything, one of the best visual sequences in the history of Star Wars is your inspiration. The
whole movie is one shot. Is that what it is?
Dear God. It's a big winner. Back to one, everybody. I forgot my line. And then JG says, apparently rumor has it that season 4 of Mando has already been written, and this next film we're going to talk about is rumored to be the 2025 film, the next Star Wars film. Wes, it's your favorite character. It's what you've been asking for years now. How do you feel that Rey's back?
Oh, it's Rey? I thought Snice Noodles was getting a movie. That's my favorite.
No, they're getting a story. We'll get to Snoodles. We'll get to Snoodles.
Damn,
our celebration.
Yes,
that was fantastic.
And my favorite character, Rey, has come back. Daisy Ridley came back on
Rey
the stage.
Rey who?
Exactly.
Rey from nowhere. They're gonna reprise that. So the the new Jedi Order movies, directed by Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy, starring Jedi Master Daisy Ridley, establishes the new Jedi Order symbol. And hey, there's been a lot of talk about this, and I've seen this on Twitter. I went and checked because I thought I had missed a certain person come out with Daisy Ridley, but I didn't. Is Finn coming back for this?
John Boyega.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I would put money on it.
Disney has
should.
a lot of work to do if they get John Boyega back. I mean,
think so.
I
too.
think they'll have to like acknowledge the fact that I don't know that anybody from the Star Wars franchise has talked as much shit as John Boyega has.
Yeah.
I saw some stuff on Reddit that
Rightfully so.
Harrison Ford did, but that was the old days.
Yeah,
right?
no.
Like,
Boyega also called them out more so than talk shit. He was
Yeah.
like, I was told this, or I was implied this. I think they literally have to put in writing. First of all, Mr. Boyega, here's your bag of money. We have another bag in the truck. Just take the truck. Here's a bag of money. Also, we'll put in writing that you get a lightsaber in the first film. You can design it if you want, and then you're a Jedi. Like, literally give him the Finn story other than imply vaguely that he's Force sensitive.
I mean,
So-
surely that's what they had to do with Daisy Ridley, right? Because she
I bet
also
she said
was
John
not
had to come.
particularly. Oh,
That's
that's
the-
actually
you know what
a
I
good
mean?
point.
That's the thing is that if he does come back, I feel like he would come back more for Daisy and their
Yeah.
bond than for Disney.
They love
know
each
what I
other.
mean?
They really
Yeah.
do.
True.
But the
That's
story
true.
needs Finn. Like there would have to be a very good, non-awkward explanation of where in the world Finn is if he's not actually in this movie alongside Daisy.
Because
Yeah.
John
How
Boyega
do
would
you do
quote
that?
tweet out, they're like, Finn is gone. He'd be like, no, he's not.
Yeah.
I know.
Like, can you imagine the backlash?
That's
So
true.
yeah,
Oh.
just like giving a timeline of this. So the new Jedi Order is happening 15 years after the Rise of
Yep, that's-
Skywalker. That was what
right,
it is.
yeah.
Okay. So
Man.
which is
That's a
I mean,
satisfying time jump, I have to say.
I like
Yes.
it. I like it. So that
No
gives us
training stuff. Like, yeah, Mr. Dad in the chat says, like, Finn is basically a Jedi Master. Like, 15 years of training. Like, they should
Right.
both be quite good at being Jedi. You know what I mean? Like, hell yeah. I want to see them. I want to see some prequel flipping. I want to
Wes,
see it.
do you remember the CGI trailer with Satali Shan from the Old Republic where she catches the lightsaber?
Yes,
I sure
yeah,
do,
Paul.
Corey.
with their hands.
Yeah, dude, with their hands. Yeah, that's what I want to see. Freaking
my
Daisy
God.
Ridley do. I did make a funny joke in Slack that I have to take credit for. Somebody said like, "What is she gonna call herself?" And I think I said, "She is Ray." Shit, I lost it.
Ray shit. That's what we're gonna call it.
Ray
That's terrible. Do not
Ray-
call her that.
Ray Palpawakatine or something like that. I don't know.
Oh, Palpawakatine.
Wow.
It's
Palpawakatine.
Ray. If they left
Master
it
Ray.
as just Ray going into New Jedi Order and didn't say anything about the Palpatine part, I'm
Yep.
okay with it.
I mean, Master
know.
Ray. People call it Master Luke.
That's
like,
fine,
just
yeah.
go with it.
Yeah. They honestly don't need to say anything
really
about
don't.
it.
No, I think it's a great idea.
It could be done well, actually. Though I think it has to be acknowledged in a way, in a way that can be redeemed. Like maybe even the way that like Princess Leia's story in Bloodline, right? With the way that all the politicians are kind of like holding it
Oh,
against
sure.
her, that she's Vader's daughter and all that kind of thing. That might be interesting to see how that
That's
kind of
sure.
played out.
I like that idea.
And then,
Jacob.
oh, sorry. So like throughout it, you put movies, New Jedi Order movies. So
I'm
may
guessing.
or may not be additional to
Yeah.
movies, but there's these time jumps for this New Jedi Order. If there's a sequence of movies, you just see Rey, like she's straight up, but then over through these movies, she just starts her back starts humping like
She gets
Palpatine,
old.
and she's just
So gets
looks
a black
all rolled
cloak.
over like Palpatine. It's like I'm sorry, it's in the genes. Like your
Right.
back
Yeah.
just starts
Right.
rounding, and
Then by the
hands get all
third movie,
brittle.
she's like, no. That's the movie opens, and
That's
then
it.
the crawl starts with somehow Palpatine is returned.
no.
Oh god.
I do think it's fun,
The dead
though.
speak.
Let's get out
I mean,
of
Fortnite
here.
will still be going, so I don't see why we can't. Jacob
Oh
put
my
out a great
God.
point. 15 years is roughly the same amount of time between Return of the Jedi and the book Shadow of the Sith, and we saw how powerful Luke was in that book. So I think
Yeah.
that's a nice,
Great book.
comparison,
Yeah.
especially with
Mr.
her Force diadem, or what is it? Dyad, not diadem, whatever.
Mr. Dad brings up a real good point too. He says he hopes they do proper pre-production and plan them out. That's my only ask, because he needs one writer. I don't care who the director is, but it needs one writer for the whole film, for the whole series, whatever they do. And this is maybe the biggest opportunity
Yep.
that Star Wars has had since they've
Easily.
purchased the damn franchise.
Yep.
Like they could right a lot of wrongs. They could also royally mess it up, even worse, just for
yeah.
the record. Like, let's not put all of our eggs
Yeah,
in
I'm
one
not putting
basket.
it past
But
them. I'm
But
not
they
putting
got to
it past
try. but they got to try.
Cautiously
So.
optimistic. This is really, really exciting. When they brought Daisy Ridley out on screen, I almost shit my pants. Like straight up.
Yeah, like
I was just
Twitter
like,
was
I
Daisy's
could,
here. It's Daisy. It's Daisy. Daisy's here. Like for doing what? Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. I couldn't
She
believe
looked
it. And
excited too.
let's
Yes,
also talk.
yes.
Let's also talk about the sort of elephant in the room in regards to like all the announcements this weekend, which we talked about a lot during Celebration. And there was a ton of talk on this about Twitter and everything about like they've canceled a lot of films in the last couple
Mhm.
years.
Mhm.
And there it feels a little different, and everybody has been saying this. It feels a little
Oh,
different
she's so happy.
to bring an actor out on screen, attach a face to a project like this, and
Yep.
announce it as Celebration. It feels a little bit bigger than Rogue Squadron with a
Yep.
teaser trailer. It feels bigger than this. I mean,
Yep.
Yeah.
And those
There's
were
no
announced
way
at
that-
also investor meetings
Yeah.
and Vanity Fair articles. Like it's cliche to say, but you're totally right, Corey. Like Star Wars Celebration is unlike anything else in the world. It's not
Yeah.
you're saying, "Hi guys, invest in us. Here's what we're gonna make for you." It's, "Hey fans, thanks for traveling across the world. Guess what Star Wars is creating? Aren't you excited?" That's
Yeah.
what it is.
bringing Daisy out on stage is just. I'm shocked. I cannot believe you could have held a gun to my head and I never would have guessed that this would have happened. Like,
Nope.
Truly.
Nope.
Truly, not in a million years. I just can't believe that she's. We just had this conversation like 3 months ago when we did our Rise of Skywalker revisit, and
Yep.
literally all of us were like, "No, there's no freaking way they're ever going to come back. There's no way that John Boyega would ever agree after the way they treated him, or Daisy would ever come back after the way they
Yeah.
treated her story. There's no way. Like it'll be a
10
decade.
years, maybe 10 years.
We said a
maybe 10
decade, and
years.
it's freaking like 2 years from now. What
Maybe
in
2
the
years.
hell? What
I
in the
think I might
hell?
have said maybe 10 years.
Yeah,
And
I'm
it's a
pretty
new
sure that
generation.
was.
Holding out hope.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, I know.
we're getting more lightsabers on screen because we're going to be building the academy. Like, this is, it's very exciting. And I mean, it feels good. And again, like you said, Corey, Kathleen Kennedy did get those questions on the carpet, and there were various news outlets there. Always interviewing a Variety, Collider, Entertainment Weekly, all these kind of things. And she did mention a bunch of times, like all these other projects, like the Kevin Feige project. She's like, it was talked about in an article, but we never fully said anything about it. Like, she's like, all these things that happened, there was still something missing from them. This gets all the pieces. This is the brand, the fans, the actor, the project, the era, like everything is working.
Yeah.
And it's exciting. It's exciting.
I think
And,
I think it was Oz that brought it up in our team too, that said that like the timeline of bringing back like original characters has gotten shorter and shorter. Like
Yes.
Luke had to wait like 30 years to come back to a project. Hayden and Ewan had to wait 15 years to come back to a
Yep.
project, and Daisy has had to wait 5 years to come back to a
Yep.
project. And that is just so incredible. I am really jealous of all the kids, all those little Rays running around at Celebration. Did you see that photo of Daisy Ridley hugging the little girl in the Ray costume and her
Mhm.
beautiful red dress that Daisy had on too? By the
Never
way,
get
She
sick of those. I will
absolutely
always
In
take
smoking.
the
those
wrap
pictures.
up, they showed someone in the crowd literally bawling their eyes out, cosplaying as Ray when Daisy came out on the stage.
I know.
Yeah.
I mean, it means
Yeah,
so much to people. And
yeah, I know.
you know what's cool is that it's taking less time, like, and it took a genuine amount of that 15 years, I think, for it to become the overwhelming thought amongst the Star Wars fandom that the prequels were really freaking good. Like,
Yep.
we
Yeah.
knew that when we were the kids watching it, right?
There's the
that's
photo.
Oh my
Look at that.
God. Just
but
I know.
makes you cry.
it's taking less time now, like you're saying, Corey, and I think some of the creators are saying like, hey, we like these characters, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like we don't need to wait for you guys to catch up. For the people that hate Ray
Yeah.
for whatever reason, like they're standing behind
I
that
know.
character, and I think that's cool, and I think that's
Yeah.
important
Ooh.
Me too.
for reasons like this. Look at this picture. This is
Yeah,
phenomenal.
no one,
Yeah.
Wes. No one actually said that. No one said that.
All right, good.
Everyone's being nice.
All right, good.
So, obviously, biggest news of the whole weekend there. But that wasn't all. Now, going backwards in time from that panel, a couple things that we knew about happening got further confirmed. Selfishly, my most anticipated. It's very close with all of these, but I think it is the thing they started out with, which was Andor Season 2. Confirmed, they're still shooting. 2024 is when it'll premiere because they're going to shoot till November this year, do about a year of post, so I'm guessing next fall. Guys, earnest question for the whole panel: is this the hottest cast in Star Wars?
Maybe not after seeing the Acolyte cast too.
That's what I'm
honestly.
saying.
Can we freaking and the Ahsoka cast? Can we freaking just talk about the fact that Star Wars Celebration had no business being as hot as it was? There were
Everyone's attractive. Jesus Christ.
way too many attractive people. It was not like this last year or whatever, whenever that was.
No,
It was not
no.
this attractive. It was not like this. I'm telling you.
Y'all were
Were there a bunch of mutants walking around in Anaheim or something? I mean, there's
Yeah,
some
dude,
good-looking
I'm
people.
telling you.
That's funny.
I'm telling you. They've just
Higher
picked the most
level.
I'm the
beautiful
only one that's
freaking
not
people.
offended because I was the only one of us not there.
No, this is a hotness like crazy watching these people. And so aside from their hotness, though, apparently there was a teaser shown that, had more of what we know. We saw more Cyril. We saw more Bix. Diego was there as Cassian. Apparently had a different hairstyle, different costuming. And not too much to talk about, obviously, because it wasn't widely released. We didn't see it. But from what I've heard, the big buzzwords were like, it's bigger. It's just a bigger version of season 1. They're going grander. And we know this is going to be where we get a lot of time skips getting into Rogue. So, yeah, not a lot to say other than this remains my favorite show, and I can't wait for more of it.
I completely forgot that this had anything to do with Rogue One. Like, it's gonna
I know.
end like
I know.
at that part.
Literally.
I know.
Like, damn it! Like, there's like, oh, why only 2 seasons? Like, oh, that's because.
I'm very curious about how Andor season 2, because if they stick the landing with the second season, like it's truly the gold standard, like not even just for live action, but like maybe Star Wars in general. So
Yeah.
like if that formula could be replicated
Mm.
even a little bit in any of the other shows, I don't know how I can handle it. I mean, we've all said that Andor ruined us when it came to like Mando, because Mandor's more kitschy and that sort of thing, and like they got to stick the landing. That's the thing.
Yeah.
They got to stick it,
And they got
especially
Tony
with the stakes of Rogue One.
And I noticed one thing as if y'all haven't watched, go back to the Star Wars YouTube channel, watch a lot of the interviews on the Star Wars stage where all the actors came out after their panels. They're like 10-15 minutes each, and they're really fun. You get to see like kind of who these actors and creators are. And what I noticed is that all the other shows talked a lot about Star Wars and a lot about the project, which was great. Every Andor person that gets interviewed talks about Tony Gilroy. It's
Yeah,
like,
they do.
it's Tony's scripts, Tony's vision. Like, this guy is literally the reason Andor is good, because he's a single creator. And obviously there's a lot of great creators in Star Wars, but I found it fascinating that his actors and his directors all talk about Tony, about how he's the reason behind it. And I think it's a huge reason why it's so successful.
It's a testament to his directing ability and his control ability.
His words,
I
man.
mean, he's just freaking good. Freaking good.
Can't wait. Can't wait for more.
Fantastic.
Of course, that was followed by another thing we didn't see. This is the one I actually wish I had seen the most, just because it was all new. Another contender for hottest cast, The Acolyte, confirmed 2024. Leslie Headland, the creator, came out with a bunch of the cast, including lead Amandla Stenberg wearing Padme cosplay.
Yeah,
That was cool.
that was pretty cool. Look how tall Jonas is.
I know.
Jonas Suatomo, who will be playing Kelnaka, a Wookiee Jedi, confirmed.
Which is badass, dude.
So cool.
That's very
Man, they're just taking lots of risk, man. I'm just so
Yeah.
pleased with the amount of risk that they're taking with it. This show has got the most, I think, interesting potential of any show that they've so far announced, like
Agreed.
in Star
Yeah.
Wars lineup, period. Like it takes
Yep.
place in the High Republic, which is probably not the original intention. I bet they adapted this a little bit to take place. I bet it was originally going to be Old Republic, and they've adapted it for High Republic because that era has been so popular.
Hmm.
And can you believe this? A freaking book like initiative is being brought to life like this with a. Can I just reveal this with a freaking live action character from a book? Rebecca Henderson going to coming in as playing Vernestra. I can't even talk. Vernestra Rowe. I just cannot believe that. Like one of the most
Master
popular.
Vernestra Rowe.
I know, one of the most popular characters from the High Republic. I'm just blown away
Wow.
by that.
I
Also,
remember-
I'm not sure if you guys have seen the picture or not. We got our Twitter locked briefly today
Yes.
because we shared it, and
But
Yeah.
it might be
Someone-
out there, hypothetically.
someone powerful.
If you want to look at it, I assume it would
Yeah.
be cool.
I remember
Yeah,
when we
this-
were when we stayed awake like it was like 11 p.m. when they gave the announcement of the High Republic, and we were like, "What do you think the end game is for this?" And it's like they are testing the waters to see if this will get some kind of we get some kind of audience behind it, some kind of rush, and it worked. It did.
I remember that night. Oh my God.
This has got to be like the fruits of the labor from the publishing initiative and all those authors, and they get springboarded into TV series, media, open media to all the streaming services on Disney. So it's awesome. That's really like, I don't want to say it's the fruits of their labor or anything, but like that's the next step.
I mean,
right?
it is. If it hadn't worked, like, and Leslie Headland, when she came out as showrunner, like literally took the mic and said, "For light and life."
Yeah.
Like she started out with the catchphrase. Like,
I know.
Yeah.
They know
This is easily the project I think that I got the most excitement from watching the celebration coverage, because they did talk to the cast a lot.
Yes.
So I watched a lot of those interviews. A lot of the people just seem like over the moon with how the project is going. And I think the thing that I found so interesting is, I hope I'm remembering this correctly. I think they said that it's supposedly a mix between Kill Bill and Frozen.
Correct.
And I'm like, what does that even mean? Like, I can't even wrap my head around that, but I do know there's going to be awesome action sequences. Like, no doubt about that.
Very martial arts heavy. I believe it was Variety's interview with Leslie Headland behind the scenes. She did expand on that because, I mean, one, what a great quote. But she did talk about that. She said when she saw Frozen, she said, I wept because I saw this movie that was about this bond between sisters, this love that wasn't just between like a prince and a princess and like, all the stuff that Frozen did so well. She's like, I just wished that as a kid I had that story. But then she also wanted to do the martial arts movies, like inspired by not only Kill Bill, but like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, a bunch of stuff like that. And apparently she said that was a huge reason why she wanted to pitch the show to Kathleen Kennedy. And every interview she gave over the weekend, she got so emotional. Like talking about, she said Star Wars saved her life. She said it was just everything she could ever imagine. And from what we heard about the trailer that was shown both at this panel and at the High Republic panel, there was huge martial arts styles of the fighting. Star Wars has always had a kind of a more Western fighting style, despite its Eastern influences. But they say the combat is very martial heavy. And at the end of the trailer, they had, the lightsaber ignition, which was great. But apparently there were like 8 lightsabers on screen, which we haven't seen since like Attack of the Clones. Like the last time we saw that many sabers and Jedi together was episode 2 in live action. And I think that's so exciting that after 20 years doing the multi-lightsabers, doing all the battles, things like that, have so much potential. And I think we mentioned it, but this did get confirmed. It's coming out in 2024, which I think is fine. Another kind of general note about Celebration was that a lot of stuff is being spread out, which I think is fine. We're getting room to breathe. We're getting time between releases to enjoy them and languish in them. So yeah, I agree, Charles. I think this has the potential to be just truly spectacular. And for any folks that haven't watched Russian Doll, the other show that Leslie Headland did, we're in really, really good hands. Now, the next one we had was a small snippet, a small look. Skeleton Crew, the AKA Jude Law and the Kiddos, got revealed more fully. Oh my God, look at them. They're so adorable. They brought out Jude and the crew. We didn't learn a ton about the show, other than based on the footage, apparently Jude Law is Force sensitive. And apparently it had a big Amblin influence, which was Spielberg's, kid studio in the 80s. Goonies was mentioned. Wes, you probably watched that when you were about 30. And all the old kids movies that were
not wrong.
Damn, that was uncalled for.
It was
Good for my age, huh?
What do you guys think about this? I feel like we still don't know a whole lot about the show, but they keep plugging along, and we got the directors sound good. Like,
you know what I
do you guys
know?
think about
I
this?
know that Jude Law is magnetic. And
he
just listening to him briefly talk on the stage, every single person in that audience was hanging on his every word. I don't understand how you can be that charming. I really don't.
Even with that mustache.
Even with the mustache, I know. But the same goes for Ewan McGregor, by the way. That mustache. Oh my word.
Something's going on over there. We need to stop that. We need to stop that. guys.
But no, I think the other thing is, look what happened with the gold mine that they struck with young Leia. Can't remember her name, the actress's name right now.
Vivian Lyra Blair. That's right.
Vivian Lyra Blair. Thank you. So I mean, they know what they're doing, with these kid actors
Great
as
point.
well. So I mean, I'm also very excited for this. I just still haven't really wrapped my head around the full premise. So I'm looking forward to getting some footage.
Yeah. This project does seem like it kind of came out of nowhere for sure. Like, and I don't really know what the origin is necessarily. Like, I don't really get it yet, I guess. But I'm excited to see it. I wonder if this is gonna be one of those projects that's like a one and done thing, or if it has potential to grow and evolve. I don't know.
Yeah,
We'll see.
And there's no confirmed date for it yet, right?
I don't believe so. I think 2024 again. Like they're done shooting it, so it's conceivable that it could be by the end of this year. They're just in post right now. I know that, I forgot when. But timeline did get, or sorry, shooting did finish. Sorry, I saw Mr. Dad asked when in the timeline it was set. I thank you, JG. Late 2023. Okay, that's right. So it is late this year.
Wow.
Which also, as we know, late 2023 always has the possibility to become early 2024.
Even more surprising then, I feel like that there's no footage widely released.
Yeah. I'm guessing we'll get it in the next couple months. And Mr. Dad, we do know where the timeline in the show is set. We do. I don't remember. Help me out, chat, in a second. But while we figure that out, kind of the main star, the Obi-Wan of the weekend, I think is the next one. Ahsoka's coming. We started out with a publicly released, epic as hell trailer, where we saw Rosario front and center with the date August 2023, and we got two major casting announcements. Right, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, the worst kept secret ever, is playing Hera.
That's right.
Who'd have thunk? Followed by the second worst kept secret ever, that Lars Mikkelsen is returning as Thrawn.
I can't believe it. She said "heir to the Empire" in the trailer. I nearly the first time this was actually the first time I really shit my pants during the during the panel. The second time was when they brought out Daisy Ridley on screen. But "heir to the Empire," I can't believe they said it. It looks like they're setting this all up to be like, is this what Dave Filoni's film is going to be? Is it going to be the final showdown between Thrawn and everybody else? Like,
I hope they say all the titles. Like, wait, do you feel that? What? It's like a dark force rising. Thrawn's did it. What did he do? He gave a first command.
I hope that.
I
know. There's a couple little story points that would fit very nicely into this that wouldn't really interrupt with a lot. Like the Katana fleet would be super fun to bring into this.
Wow.
Like
Islamiri, put them in there. Give us the freaky salamanders.
Yeah. I'm all for it, man. Like a lot of potential. He looks fantastic too, by the way. There's a lot of discourse online about the way Thrawn looks because the image of him has also leaked. If you haven't seen it already, you can go look it up. They haven't formally released it yet. And people are mixed feelings, I think, in a lot of ways, kind of the way that people felt about Cad Bane, I think, in Book of Boba Fett.
Yep.
Well, we are able to show the
Dawson
picture. We are able to show the picture of the back of his head.
The back.
Yeah, we show the back of his head.
We can show the back of his head.
People were like, before it was actually announced that it was Lars Mikkelsen, they were like comparing pictures of him online on Google, his ears.
Brian Ward did a great job on Twitter. Shout out to Brian Ward. I think it was Laura from Force Toast Idea. He literally put in a video of him taking a picture and cropping and fitting the ears.
Yeah,
it was
great. Ridiculous.
That's hilarious.
And they were right.
Yeah, but all these characters, you got to take a step back. Anything that you saw in animation, it's not going to look like what you saw in animation. I mean, the same goes for Sabine. The same goes for Hera. The same goes. Chopper is a 1-to-1. That was
Chopper.
Cool.
But, you mean the biggest war criminal in the history of Star Wars?
Exactly, exactly. But it was the same for Ahsoka when we first saw Ahsoka, and I mean, I think that actually Rosario looks great in this trailer. Yeah. So you're gonna get used to it. It's Thrawn. The voice is gonna match, which is like wonderful. So
Literally, it's him.
yeah,
There's gonna be
exactly.
people that say he doesn't sound like Thrawn. I swear to God. It's
I
gonna be
know.
like, it's
I know.
the
That's
same
exactly
guy.
what's gonna happen. I know. Very interested to see how this is happening. Brought to live action, a book character, a famous book character
Mhm.
from freaking 40 years ago,
Thrawn.
whatever, has been brought to live action like
Yeah.
this. Is just a total
nuts.
mind blowing
Yep.
experience. Like, the only thing that was missing from this whole weekend is I wish someone could have put a microphone in front of Tim Zahn and got his opinion about kind of where.
Ooh.
Well, because they confirmed for the first time ever that they actually talked to him about Thrawn's character for the show. They actually,
Yeah.
I forgot who said it, but it was Filoni or someone. They mentioned Timothy Zahn by name because they've been very reluctant about that in the past. And I think they've been playing their cards close, but they did at least confirm that they checked in with Zahn and talked to him about him in the show. I
Wow.
doubt
hope
he
so.
went to the
I
set because,
like that.
frankly, I don't think Tim Zahn would want to. You
Yeah.
know, I feel like he's
I
like,
know.
I'm good. I'm gonna stay home in my black turtleneck and not talk about it.
My cats. That's what he
Yeah,
always
so-
says. I know.
Well, what
thrilled.
about some of the other stuff that they showed in the trailer too? Like, I mean, the Sabine stuff
Yeah.
was incredible, but
Yeah.
actually on Lethal in that whatever that little
know.
Yep,
structure
we saw the
is, I don't even know
tower.
what it is.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah, the
Sabine, this
tower.
actress
We saw
is
Lothal.
also
Lothal's in a movie.
Lethal, her talking
this
to
cast-
Ezra.
Yep,
It looked
Ezra.
like
Yep.
Yep.
Lethal's big. There's this new Sith-like character. A couple new bad guy-looking
Couple.
characters
Yeah.
with red and orange lightsabers. Are
Yeah.
pretty
Oh,
sick.
we got names
like,
for them. We got names for them too. I didn't write them down, but we got names for them. And
Yeah, we're not your Easter egg trailer digest
sorry,
type of
y'all.
guys. You know, Alex Damon's got us covered for
Yep.
that. You know, but
That shuttle will be a Lego, by the way. It's confirmed already that in a leak that Ahsoka shuttle. So September
Nice.
1st.
Oh,
Thank you
nice.
very much, Jacob. Thank you, Braylon and Shin. Braylon
That's
is
right.
Ray Winston, and Shin is his apprentice.
that's right. A lot of good
Oh,
stuff.
Ray Stevenson plays who's the Mandalorian that he plays in
Gar Saxon.
Gar
He's the
Saxon.
voice
So
of Gar Saxon.
when
Yeah.
he came out to the stage, there's like in the voice of Gar Saxon, and I like just stopped listening to anything else, and I was just like, Ray Stevenson is in the Ahsoka trailer. Is Gar Saxon some kind of Sith that we didn't know about? It's just like, no, you stop listening to the
situation.
details, you idiot. I was just like,
Oh my
funny.
God, though.
Oz had to point that out for me. I ruined it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Speaking of
Funny.
things, JG just pointed out, Filoni, the last names of Braylon and Shin are wolves from Norse mythology. Because of course Dave Filoni
Yep.
put in wolves. Hattie and Skull are their last names.
Wow, that's
Dave,
fantastic.
you know what? Great. Good for you. He commits to the bit.
We've said this, we've said it already that Ahsoka has really big shoes to fill, like just massive expectations to fill, and the stakes are really, really high, and I am going to be incredibly cautiously optimistic about this project. I really hope that this is not the one that they use a low budget for, or don't
Yeah.
really work on all the direction for, or the writing is not just perfect for. Like, this cannot be a Book of Boba Fett. Like, as much as that was a fun show, whatever, but
I want it to be epic.
the stakes are too
it's
high.
gonna be
This has got to
it's
be
gonna be a
somewhere
thin
between.
line to walk
It
though
does.
too, to
Yeah.
explain all these characters that you only know if you watch the animated series.
I
Like
know.
that's gonna be difficult, and I don't know. We're gonna have to see how they did it, because I was talking to my
Yeah.
dad right when I was home,
Mhm.
and it was the first day of celebration, and all this stuff was coming out, and I was like, "Oh yeah, and that's Sabine, and that's Hera," and he's like, "Who are all of these people?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, it's gonna take a few conversations, but
You know what?
Yeah.
Kathleen Kennedy confirmed that this is happening for the films again, and I wish they do it for Ahsoka. They won't. Why can't we just have a crawl, guys? Just put in a crawl.
Ooh.
Like,
That
Ahsoka
would-
Tano, former
help
Jedi, is looking for Ezra Bridger, a noted Jedi that ran from Lothal. Like, just
yeah,
do
yeah.
a crawl. Just do a
Yeah.
crawl. But they
I
won't.
don't. They put a crawl in literally every freaking comic. Like, I don't know why they can't
That's
just put it in the
It's
damn.
so helpful. It's so helpful.
Yeah, it is
I still
helpful.
don't understand what's going on in the comics, but it's helpful
Yeah.
enough.
That's right. Yeah, it is. I don't
So,
know
yeah.
why they don't do it. This would be a good opportunity to do it, but I don't see that
4
happening.
months?
To be honest,
4 months away, guys.
I can't believe that. This cast, we haven't said this yet. This cast is also super hot.
That's true. Yes, I'd be remiss. Extraordinarily
They-
hot.
I will be
Uh,
remiss.
The actress that plays Sabine, what's her name again? I can't remember.
Natasha Louis Bordizzo?
Yeah, something like that.
Something like
She
that.
came out on stage on the Star Wars stage, the Star Wars show stage, like shortly afterwards in this
Mhm.
gorgeous white dress, and I was like 14-year-old me is deep down in my head somewhere. He's deep down in there, and he was like
It's not that far down.
pretty far down.
He's
pretty far
preaching.
down.
He's preaching.
Exactly. Is like
Yeah. Oh my God. Look
Padme
at them.
versus. I mean, good God, this cast is
Look at
gorgeous.
John and Dave aside for like these people are all gorgeous. Hi, we're also
know.
here.
Exactly. Seriously.
Oh, and we neglected to mention there's on the left next to John in this photo, I forget her name. It's the magistrate from season 2 of Mandalorian who fought
That's right.
Ahsoka with the Beskar. She is part of Thrawn's
Yes.
fleet.
Right.
The one
Right.
where
She'll
she
be back.
asked, "Where is Grand Admiral Thrawn?" or whatever. Right?
Yep.
Definitely
Yep.
got
Yeah.
she definitely got interviewed during this with
Yes, that's right.
She was with somebody else, so she was like, "I have a name, by the way." You know,
I know that was
So
funny.
she-
Yeah.
That's funny. They still
You're
haven't quite. I will say the Star Wars show coverage this year was like night and day better than last
Yep.
time. Like they
Very
really just killed it.
comprehensive.
I mean, they just covered like every single actress, got their own little
Mhm.
moment on the Star Wars
Mhm.
show stage. However, they really got to figure out how to interview people better about projects that are coming down the line because
What can you tell us?
literally every single interview is exactly the same. It's like,
Yeah.
I better not say that. I'm going to get in trouble. Like that got really old after like the first 2 or 3.
Yeah,
Like,
it was like
of
4
not
days,
being
so,
able to talk
yeah.
about it because the interviewer stumbles over the questions and the actor stumbles over the questions. Like, it was pretty awkward. I wish they would figure that shit out.
I'm gonna start doing that in all of our Youtini interviews now with authors. Like, so what can you tell us? And then make the author feel awkward. It'd be great.
They should just
do
okay
that.
like one fact that each person can reveal in every interview. Then it would feel like
Yeah.
okay, what is the thing?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Jared, that's the question that makes me vomit every time I hear somebody say
What's
that.
it like being in Star Wars?
What's it like?
What's
It's
it
cool.
like being in
They all
Star
say the
Wars?
same thing. They all said they cried when they found out. I mean, given this is what we would all do as well.
Yeah, of course, it's
you
honest.
know, but it's still
Yeah. So
has something more interesting.
So to recap this one, because there's one other major panel that we're gonna go to that's obviously very important to our audience here and all y'all. Day one, the first 2 hours of celebration, we got Dawn of the Jedi era film, Imperial Remnant Mandoverse film, New Jedi Order film starring Rey, Andor season 2 in 2024, The Acolyte in 2024, Skeleton Crew in 2023, Ahsoka in 2023. Footage, actors, directors, updates for all of them. Great way to start.
Yeah,
Great way to
phenomenal way to
start.
start. The only other small complaint that I have, if I have
Hit
to
it.
have a complaint now about anything,
You always do.
I know, I always do. Balance. The criticism must be balanced. Well, my head is really.
Tell us,
taking a
giant head
shot.
Corey.
Up.
What's your
Giant Corey.
complaint?
Balance that.
Lay
head.
down, great head of the lake, Corey. I don't know. The other thing that I really wish about Celebration is I wish that they would break up this first panel of the day into multiple announcements. I really wish they would, because like you get this gigantic hype train from the first day, and then none of the other panels can even hold a candle to it after the fact. Like,
Right.
and this has happened. I think the last 3 celebrations in a row where this first panel just gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and like last time Mando had its own panel, right? Dave Filoni had their own thing. They had their whole
And
own
Ahsoka
thing.
had their
It was
own panel
separate,
here.
right?
That-
They
but
did,
still-
but all the announcements happened here. They brought all the cast out here, and I'm like, it makes it one hard on the people who don't win the lottery. Like I was in that camp the first year I went to Celebration. I didn't win a single damn, lottery, and that sucked. And also, nothing just can live up to the hype. We were also jacked. They were like, nothing could even kind of come close. I mean,
Right.
the rest of the
well, close, I will say.
films and TV.
That's true. But close for okay. Here we go. JG, you know where we're going. You know us because we were on Zoom talking about this. Next up, of course, we have the High Republic panel. Awesome at last celebration, and even bigger at this celebration. What I liked about this was great. Kevin Scott was on Instagram Live saying High Republic's gonna have the most reveals of any panel, and we're like, okay, Kev, love you so much, friend of the show. Sure. He wasn't lying, y'all, because if you didn't watch it, let's break down everything that was announced at the High Republic panel. Starting off with I think after Path to Vengeance, our next High Republic book, which is the YA anthology Tales of Light and Life. This is the YA anthology where all of the High Republic creators are going to write a short story. It's going to take place across all different eras. And they announced all the titles of every story, the authors of every story, and the timeline of every story. And then one additional author, which we'll say at the end. So, to start off, you know what? We're going to do a little round robin. I'm springing this on you guys because I know you hate it. Charles, go through let's do our first 3 stories that are going to be in Tales of Light and Life, starting with The Queen's Bloom.
Okay, well, starting with The Queen's Bloom by Zoraida Cordova, which is apparently about Axel and the mother, as in the mother from The Path of the Open Hand. And
Sigmund Freud stuff right there, I bet.
Don't like that.
And moving on. The next one is A Closed Fist Has No Claws by Tessa Gratton, and that is about Marta Rowe. And then the last one is The Call of Coruscant by Lydia Kang, which is featuring a new Jedi character post Starlight Beacon. So, I mean, that's essentially... Yeah, no, I'm not even gonna go there. But those are the first 3.
Yep, all exciting. Wes, take the next 3.
All right, next 3. Shield of the Jedi by George Mann, friend of the show. It's about Salandra Show, Rupert Natani during Rupert's trials. So I am not familiar with Rupert Natani. I am with Salandra Show.
Ooh,
So-
great segue, because tomorrow on Youtini.com, my review for Quest for Planet X comes out. Rupert Natani features in that middle grade novel and Quest for the Hidden City.
Okay, fantastic.
Yep.
This is kind of what the book looks like if y'all follow
Yeah,
me
there
on
you
YouTube. Next is The Lonely Traveler is Home by friend of the show, Daniel Jose Older, and it's going into Ram Jamaram. I'm very well versed in Ram Jamaram just because the name is great.
So good.
And then a Claudia Gray story, After the Fall. And that is a vessel crew post Starlight Beacon, 1 day, 1 week, and 1 month post destruction of Starlight Beacon. Should I have said that? Damn it.
You nailed it. Yeah, I love that because the 3-story thing will be interesting. If you guys didn't watch the panel, I did get live stream. Claudia Gray had laryngitis, so she couldn't talk about it. So Mike Seglain had to answer all her questions.
No
So he
kidding.
was like describing her story. It was great. And in the last couple, we have The Force Provides by Justina Ireland, which is a Vernestra Rowe story, of course, with Justina. We have Light in the Darkness by Kevin Scott, which features, quote, Jedi Master Keeve Trennis after Starlight Beacon, in her ship, which is named the Geos. He also let that slide. And then Charles Soule is writing All Jedi Walk Their Own Path, which is 2 stories. One is Bell and Loden, and one is Bell looking for Boryaga. So kind of very Bell-focused. And then there was a little surprise. There's a 10th High Republic author being added, Alyssa Wong, who is the writer of Dr. Aphra, is coming up, and they are writing a Barnes & Noble exclusive story. So you can only get it in that edition, which is New Jedi and Crash Angwa, who is a character based on Alyssa Wong, and that takes place post-Midnight Horizon.
We just love it when they do those store exclusives, man.
Oh, gotta buy both of them.
Yeah.
So out of
That's
all
funny.
these, again, we don't know anything else about them. Any stories that are kind of jumping out at you guys, or any creators you can't wait to really dive into? Because there's some people here we haven't read in quite a while.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always excited for the greats, Kevin Scott, Claudia Gray. I mean, like,
Yeah.
there's just so much good stuff happening here, and there's some interesting stuff. This 1 day, 1 week, 1 month thing is pretty clever.
Yeah.
You can tell that they're all excited about phase 3. You know,
Yeah.
And the rest of the, like, phase 2 is blown by, I think, kind of maybe fortunately a little bit. Like,
Mhm.
so I'm just
Sure.
at least very exciting that to see folks kind of talking about characters that we already know and love. I think this is where the passion is for these stories. So exciting to see them continue these.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
That's why I want to read the Charles Soule one, because we all love Bell and Loden, and we all want to know what happened to Buryaga.
Yep.
So cannot wait for that one.
Yep.
And I'm kind of partial to the Zoraida Cordova because she knocked it out of the park with the Crash of Fate. I'm going to see what's going on with the Queen's Bloom because Axel is still a question mark
Yep.
right now, so we want to kind of get some more insight on him. And the mother obviously is the biggest question mark. So,
Yeah.
as of right
Fascinating
now,
character.
outside of Markion Rowe, of course.
Yeah, and I'll follow up by saying Shield of the Jedi, but George Mann is probably one of my highest ones. Solandra Show is weirdly one of the characters that I've grown really attached to in Phase 2. I think out of all the characters, she has kind of risen just based on how well she's written. I find her very Loden-esque as far as her mastery style with Rupert, and anytime we get to see the Jedi trials written, I think it's fun. Because they were talked about so hypothetically for so many years in Star Wars that when they're like, here's your trial, this is what you have to do, I'm always like, yeah, great, I like tests.
Yeah,
I like to
exactly.
watch them, you know what I mean?
No, you don't.
Yeah, I like
To
people
watch
taking tests.
other people taking them.
Yeah. So believe it or not, all those story reveals were like 5% of the panel. Because guess what? We also got Phase 3, Wave 1. We all kind of guessed this was going to happen. The next wave got revealed. And it's much more spread out than before. So Corey, if you would be so kind, go ahead and walk us through the first 3 books here in Phase 3, Wave 1. I know you're excited to say that again.
Oh my God, I'm just not going to say that again because you already said it. Yeah, they did spread this out because we have books coming out all the way through like the end of this year to 2025, which is insane. Yeah,
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah, for the whole the whole phase. So, Eye of Darkness by George Mann was announced as an adult novel coming out on November 4th, 2023. That's exciting. George Mann's getting an adult novel.
Friend of the show, we did it! We did it, guys!
Yeah,
George Mann's doing
I
an
know.
adult novel!
Escape from Valo by Daniel Jose Older and Alyssa Wong is the middle grade novel coming out January 30th, 2024. And then lastly, Defy the Storm by Tessa Groton and Justina Ireland is the young adult novel coming out in March of 2024. So, man,
2 months
exciting.
between.
Exactly.
I'm all for that. A
Yes.
little
Yeah.
more time. Let us breathe in
2
between
months
the
between
projects.
each book, guys. Look
Yeah,
at that.
For sure. It's fantastic.
Yeah. I also want to point out that George Mann's adult novel, I'm so excited for it because they asked him, what's it about, George? And he said it's about Markion Rowe. I see the Eye of Darkness, and he's like, Avar is there, Elzar is there, and then Michael Siglain literally cut him off in the panel.
He
He's
freaked
like, that's
out.
enough.
Yeah.
That's good.
I know. There's yet another panel suffering from the don't reveal too much problem.
Yeah. But Avar
like,
Chris
just
back
give
in
them
books.
notes. Yeah,
I'm
Avar Chris
so-
back in books is a
the
big
main crew.
freaking deal. That was all over the internet.
Yeah.
People were yelling about Avar Chris, so excited about that for sure.
Yeah. And I like Valo coming back from the Rising Storm is really fun. A lot of co-written books here with DJO and Alyssa Wong and Tessa Gratton, Justina Ireland. A lot of Storm stuff, a lot of Nile-centric stuff. And again, like you said, Corey, like Phase 2 is kind of past. We did our thing. Every announcement that came up about the Nile, I'm like, oh, right. I love this. I'm very excited to get back to these guys. So that was great. And then, surprisingly, they were like, you know what? Let's just give you the rest of the entire Phase 3. All of Phase 3, they're announcing, thank you guys, by the way. Thank you. We wanted that.
Yes.
So we already got, of course, The Eye of Darkness by George Mann, but then we got the other 2 adult novels from Phase 3. Charles, hit us with the other 2 titles and their dates, please.
Yeah, so the next adult novel after George Mann's Eye of Darkness is going to be Temptation of the Force by Tessa Gratton, and that's coming in summer 2024. And then the last one will be Trials of the Jedi by Charles Soule, and that is spring 2025. So big jumps in between these adult novels.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Projects
Sure.
in between, of course,
Right.
as well. But nice to see, I think, Charles Soule at the end kind of cleaning up the thing that he started way back
Bringing
when,
it home.
right?
Yeah, I
For
remember when he got interviewed at the panel. He started it and he's starting it and he's ending it. So
Yeah.
that's a big testament to his writing, especially because he was the winner of Book Mattis, right?
He was a Book Madness winner, Charles Soule.
Oh my God! Can we
it's
talk about
legendary.
that? We have to talk about this.
Well, yeah.
Let's. Is it time yet, or are we gonna wait?
We'll
for a
hit it
minute?
at the end. We'll hit it at the end.
All
A little
All right.
stick
Sounds
around.
good. Sounds good.
But yeah, I loved also the mirroring aspect of the titles with that. Obviously,
Mhm.
so Tessa Gratton co-writing Path of Deceit, co-writing Defy the Storm, and then singularly writing Temptation to the Force. Really great. Excited to see what she does in the adult space. But with Trials of the Jedi, I love that because that's what the third phase is called. There was Light of the Jedi, Quest of the Jedi, Trials of the Jedi. Literally, the first book that Charles sold was called Light of the Jedi, Light the Initiative. And then the last book he writes is Trials of the Jedi, Light the Initiative. And I think it's just very poetic, like George said, right? It's poetry, it rhymes, and him kind of going back to the well is going to be great. He did make a joke that Trials is his legal background, and they're all going to open a law firm. So we'll see if that's what it turns out being. But yeah, as someone who's gotten really into Charles Soule's other non-Star Wars fiction writing since Light of the Jedi, I'm very stoked for him to be back. And then, of course, we get the YA novels. So we started off, of course, knowing that Defy the Storm is coming out, but we got the other two as well with similar timelines. So the next one, after Defy the Storm by Tessa Gratton and Justina Ireland, is going to be Tears of the Nameless by George Mann, getting a YA in fall 2024. And then we end, not Into the Dark, but Into the Light by Claudia Gray, spring 2025. So again, mirroring the first phase exactly. Just a great call. Just a great call. I think it's really fun, them kind of telegraphing their end like this.
Tears of the Nameless.
I know.
That's a pretty like.
They introduced that hilariously too. They're like, "What can you tell us about it?" He's like, "Well, there's going to be nameless, and they may cry."
Perhaps. Could be.
They may cry. And I was like, fantastic.
They use the tears of the Nameless for their special powers, much like the much like the kids that eat those weird eggs that make them jump higher and run faster.
Oh, Padawan. Karen makes a great point. I really do like, so far, we'll get to the middle grade as well. The titles in phase 3. I think they're just good titles.
Good titles.
Just straight up. Like,
fantastic.
You know,
the
titles for phase 2 are fine, but
excellent pull there, Wes. Nobody acknowledged that.
I like it. I like you, Wes. And I like you so much, Wes. Tell us about the middle grades. Finish us off here in phase 3.
Okay, so on top of Escape from Val, that's coming out on the 30th in 2024, January. Next is Beware the Nameless. So not Tears, but Beware the Nameless, because they're so upset that they got their tears stolen.
They're sensitive. Don't make them cry.
You cracked it, Wes. You cracked it.
Beware the Nameless by Zoraida Cordova, coming out in summer of 2024. And A Valiant Vow. Say that 3 times fast by Justina Ireland. No, that's not part of the title. A Valiant Vow, coming out in spring 2025.
Sweet.
Excellent.
I love that there's time. Like I
for sure.
feel like we're a contradictory show where we're like, where's all the Star Wars? And then it's like, there's too much Star Wars.
Give me an extra week to read, please. Yeah. And I'll wait till the last day anyways. So, yeah.
But overall, I was shocked that we got this many. I didn't expect all of phase 3.
Yeah, we have 2 months to procrastinate, Wes.
That's all you ever wanted.
I know, man. I know.
All right,
the publishing panel was this weekend too, and we were all shocked that not a single damn thing was announced.
Not a damn thing,
right? Yeah,
not a single thing. That was so weird. Everybody was sitting on bated breath, waiting for that to happen, and nothing happened. Nothing happened.
Here, based on absolutely nothing, out of we had all the phase 3 in front of us right now. Of course, they did mention there's no audio dramas, there's no limited series. We did find out Cavan's gonna write the phase 3 comic. DJ O's gonna write the Young High Republic Adventures, as always. Yep. Out of what we got, what's your favorite? What's your most excited? What do you think might be the best?
Dude, Eye of Darkness. Eye of Darkness by George Mann, man. That's absolutely. I said man. I just totally did. Man. By George Man. Can't wait for that. It's gonna be great.
Yeah. It's gonna be
That's
so
up there. Trials of the Jedi is up there too. I mean, come on.
Yeah. You're right. You're correct. I think those are gonna be amazing. I'm gonna go Into the Light by Claudia Gray. Into the Dark famously wasn't one of my favorite books, but also when we talked to her, we remember that she had to kind of almost restart the book at one point, which was interesting. But I think ending it, I mean, Claudia Gray can stick the landing very well, so I want to see where that goes.
Defy the Storm, just the title itself by Tessa Gratton and Justine Ireland, another young adult novel. Yeah, what does that mean? Defy the storm. They tried to go up against Marquion Rowe possibly, and his formidable foes might just actually get defeated in this one, and he rises again. I mean, there's been a couple books now where it's ended, and like in Marquion Rowe and what? It's been so long. It's only been like 6 months since the last book that we've read. The Nile. Jeez, the Nile.
The Nile. There you go. You got there. You made it.
So yeah, I mean that's gonna be. I think that's gonna be a good one. So and that it's starting off the YA initiative for Phase 3. So that's
Absolutely.
the one I'm excited about.
That's a good point. JG brings up a good point that Michael Sigalain said that there's a lot they haven't announced, specifically audio dramas have not been mentioned, which kind of implies that there are multiple, which is exciting.
Yeah, I think we're still going to get a lot of more of those. And then, of course, Jacob also mentions one thing I forgot to put in here. Behind the Occlusion Zone by Lydia Kang, those are going to be like the Star Wars Insider short stories. So they're continuing with those as well.
Yeah.
Lots of good stuff. Yes, Phase 3, Timothy, great question. Phase 3 is 1 year after Phase 1. So a full year has passed. The Nile have basically won, and here we are. So we'll find out how that goes. All right. Last couple things I got announced, kind of rapid fire wise with Star Wars Celebration, and then we'll kind of wrap up here with what we found out at the end of Celebration. Bad Batch 3 was announced. And it's
we
forgot.
I'm sorry to interrupt. We forgot the award.
Yes. Okay, Corey, tell the story.
We Oz on the team. I'm going to throw him under the bus hard. Oz on the team had the brilliant idea to create some awards last minute and get them printed professionally for Kevin and Charles to give them a celebration for the top 2 places in the book Madness. And we noticed at the very last minute in the photo that we handed him the thing, it was pointed out that there's a typo on the award. So right now we are 2 for 2 with giving an award to Kevin Scott and screwing it up somehow.
Whoa, hold on, Corey. I think. Okay, never mind. Probably someone said your mic was muted.
Oh, yeah, I see that. That's weird.
Anyway, you're good. I heard you on the same. Yeah, so we're 2 for 2 with screwing up with authors. Sorry.
Nice job, Oz.
We try so
There's
hard.
always next year.
We do. We try so hard. We try so hard, and we still somehow mess it up somehow.
We stumble.
But it's fine.
Someone said though that certificate would be worth more because of the
mistake.
typo. I think it was Jacob, maybe.
Yeah. I think it's essentially just becoming a running joke that every single time we give Kevin an award, because to be honest, we're gonna probably keep giving him awards.
Yeah, he's doing good stuff.
Screw something up, or the next like really nice award we give him like a trophy or a statue. We need to just like smash it up with a hammer and just mail him like a bag of like powder and tiny little rocks and stuff. Here's your award.
Let's not mail him a bag of powder. Let's not do that.
Yeah, that's true. That'd be bad for customs.
Oh man.
All right, last couple announcements I want to go through briefly here because we didn't get a ton of them. We got the panels though. Bad Batch season 3 announced as the final season. That feels right. I feel like the end of season 2 set it up for a really, really good, solid ending. Right? I mean, this kind of seems where we're going here. I'm excited about it. Apparently there was a little bit of footage shown. Omega had a new haircut, and it looks like there might be a little bit of a time jump. There's a lot of Mount Tantus stuff. I mean, that sounds great.
Yeah, it's fitting. It's fitting ending season 3. So
yeah,
how much longer could they go? Because
we like ends.
They're picking up ends. They're going to eventually pick up at a time where we've already had the story told. So,
God, Jared.
Yeah,
Christ,
go ahead, tell the audio listeners what just happened.
Oh man, Stephen Kent said Trophy with the melted arm or something, and Jared said the Loden Greatstrom award. Holy shit!
Or it's all dust.
That's rough, dude.
All right, 2 more announcements that we got for new projects.
I'm also ready for Bad Batch to end. Let's is what I was gonna add to that.
We didn't say that.
In a good way. In a good way.
In a good way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is this the last animation that we're ever gonna get from this studio and this animation style and all this stuff?
I
You
don't
Well,
think
so.
ever?
No, because we're getting another one. I think in the next round, Tales of the Jedi season 2. Got
That's
announced.
exciting. That is very
Okay, well, that's-
exciting
maybe
because
that one's,
those
I guess, technically.
were so good.
Yes.
The Dooku stuff.
Oh my god.
That's different animation though, slightly, isn't it? Then
It's slightly different. I mean, yeah,
was gonna say, it's
they're
slightly different.
Slightly, but still similar. Like the Ahsoka episodes were very Clone Wars-esque.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
So it depends. I think that, but so you're asking. Obviously, Tales of the Jedi. Cannot wait. So excited.
That is
But
not fun.
for Bad Batch, are you saying like, is there going to be obviously Bad Batch kind of
Mm.
replaced Clone Wars? Do you think there's going to be another?
Yeah, something
When it takes
else using
place?
that. Because like, how do
Ooh,
they
I
do
don't
this
know.
animation? It's like, is it like a game engine? You know, like what's it like Unreal Engine 4 or
Unreal.
whatever? Is that how they do it? Like, I imagine it has
Getting
something to do with
someone
it,
on the
right?
So.
show sometime to talk us through that.
Yeah.
We do
Yeah,
have to figure that out.
Like
Yeah,
they've,
exactly.
they've had the Clone Wars and the Bad Batch using kind of that same animation style, and then
Yeah,
Rebels was done in a different animation style.
was different.
So
Right.
if you're getting into that era, do you keep it congruent and move to that Rebels
Yeah.
animation style?
That would be
Keep
cool.
it that
Yeah,
way.
I
Great
don't know.
question.
Yeah.
Just because the animation has gotten so damn good. I feel
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
Leaving, I don't want to leave it behind at this point. Like because like if I don't want to start over again. Rebel season
Yeah.
1 looked not great. Like the animation was kind of bad. I didn't like it. Right.
Well,
so like
on StarWars.com, the wording was interesting because in the press release they said it will be the final season as Lucasfilm finishes telling this part of the story. That could mean this
interesting.
part of Star Wars. It could also mean, again, they have something else coming down the pipe. I did want to ask you guys though about Tales of the Jedi specifically, because Charles, I agree, the Dooku stuff was especially amazing. We never expected it. If they do all new Jedi, because they didn't confirm it was going to be Ahsoka or not, or Dooku again, what have you, what two Jedi do you want? You can
Quinlan
have your
Voss.
druthers. Quinlan Voss,
Cypher
great
Diaz.
pick. That
Cypher Diaz.
stupid question. Of course,
Jesus.
of course.
Always
Yeah.
Cypher Diaz.
Oh man.
Kiadi
this is-
Mundi. Give me
this is tough.
give me some Kiadi, man.
Him and his like 37 wives.
But like
Living
a
in
younger
You
Utah.
animate that?
I want like a younger Kiadi where he still has more than just his little ponytail. You
Is it
know? I
Tales
want
of
him
the
to have
Jedi?
a hairline like
That'd be good. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
It has a hairline. Does it all have to be? All the Tales of the Jedi are all from like the similar. It's all like prequels era storytelling,
So
I guess,
far.
isn't it? Right? I don't think I remember anything else
far.
outside of that. Right? Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I think they could also do like it would be kind of cliche, but I mean, Yoda, Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think
I mean,
that's
do
kind of
some Luke. What if they did Luke? That'd be sick.
Hey,
that
that's a good
that's-
idea.
Yeah. I was going to say, can we go forward? Because I would love to
Yeah.
get young Luke, on some
Luke
kind
would
of
be
Jedi
cool.
adventure.
Oh, or
Luke!
Outside of
Finn.
Tom,
Finn when he was in the First Order. Dude,
yeah. That might be good.
awesome.
Oh my God!
That
Use
would
that. Use Tales of the Jedi to,
To get him
reintroduce
back
Finn
in?
training to go into the 2025 movie where he's a badass. Why not? Who says no? Other than the executives have to pay for it. Yeah. So that's exciting. Again, no other details other than it's happening because this actually got announced in the Clone Wars 15th anniversary panel, so it was kind of a side mention. But last thing we got, this was today. Visions Season 2, which got promoted to the celebration stage. This was on the biggest
They
stage
did.
this year. This amazing poster that's on screen right now, and y'all, I'm gonna say it, probably my favorite trailer of the weekend.
It was
hella
It was so good.
This looked spectacular.
Yes.
I did not realize that Visions was this popular, though.
Me
Like,
neither.
I wonder if it has that. I wonder if it fills that sort of like niche content of like one of those things that little kids just really love and they want to watch over and over again. So the parents just like turn it on. You know what I mean?
Maybe.
like because they're all these one standalone thing, and they can just watch it. I don't know. Like
Also, what was that really, really good one with what was her name? L or Y or the Jedi with the yellow saber?
don't know.
Village Bride was that
Village
that one?
Bride. Yeah, Charles. I mean,
Yeah, that was
dude,
great.
Like, There's some really good stuff. And some of the animation in this new trailer, if y'all haven't seen it, it's on Star Wars YouTube channel. Go watch it right now. My God, the amount of skill in this animation, because it's all new studios and they're all over the world. Alex Damon did a really good discussion about the panel itself. And it said all the filmmakers got really emotional about what they did. Like, there were filmmakers from India, and they made an Indian Inquisitor. And all about that stuff. There was like South African people. There was people from all over the world just kind of doing their own stuff. There's a Wallace and Gromit style. Yep, the Aardman Studios. People that made Wallace and Gromit did one. And there was one in here. Yeah, there's one called Sith. Yeah, I loved that. Apparently, people got to watch that whole thing. And as JG said, the lightsabers in the beginning looked like electric or like paint, like very into the Spider-Verse-esque.
Yeah, looked fantastic.
And Stephen Kent in the chat saying, what if Celebration, the next one, which we'll talk about in a second, would have a Vision Season 3? And they just keep making these things because you're never going to run out of studios.
Do it.
It's
you know?
I watched this panel, and every one of the, not every one specifically, but they're all vastly different from each other. And they're all like telling a story that is driven through kind of their culture. But like there is a kids version of a short story here, and there's like a super dark like anime version. I'm just like,
sure.
I mean, the spectrum is so wide that they're given the opportunity to do this, and they see that. I mean, this is a launching point for them. You can get a book out of it. You can get even longer short stories. You can probably get some kind of a TV series if you wanted to. But
let's get another book. That'd be great.
I know. It looks like higher budget too. Do you guys notice that? I don't know. Just in general, the entire production value just looks significantly greater for some reason.
And maybe that's just the studios. Maybe like, again, animation is such an interesting thing. It's so less 1-to-1 than live action. You know, like
I wonder how this worked. I wonder if they like reach. So initially they said they reached out to all these studios. I wonder if like after the success the first time, all these animation studios were like, "Hey, we want to do it. Let us in." Like
that'd be cool.
Like and there was a bidding war, and they all had to like submit their budget.
That'd be rad. Well, and this one I also like. They released the full cast list. And there's some people that are new to Star Wars, like Daveed Diggs of Hamilton fame is going to voice a character. And coming back as his old character is Dennis Lawson as Wedge Antilles in one of these shorts.
I remember hearing that. Yes, that's awesome.
Yeah, I saw that.
Shocked.
That was wild.
Blown away.
Yeah.
He was interviewed on the Celebration stage, or not Celebration stage. Yeah, Celebration stage. He was interviewed.
Yep. Yeah.
I see him out there.
And these come out May the 4th. There's less than a month till this comes out. So bravo to them for like showing literally nothing and then being like, by the way, it's out in a couple weeks. So enjoy. You know?
Yeah, for sure.
May the 4th. Enjoy. Again, I think we'll probably do some episodes. I know last time we kind of broke them up into a couple episodes. I'd love to do that again because I think these just look really solid. So look forward to that. And then finally, last panel of the day is the recap panel. The kind of looking back, there's the great, really emotional, here's all the cosplayers, here's what Celebration was. And they reveal where the next Celebration is going to be. We found out in 2025, which we knew there was going to be nothing next year, 2025 Celebration is being held in Japan. And Tokyo. This was met with a wide variety of reactions. I'll admit myself, I'm gonna own myself on this show. I'm gonna be very transparent. I was very angry to start, and then I was very sad because I had been in my head hoping to go back to Orlando for 2025. Those have been the rumors, and I was like, ugh, I can't go. Me, Eric, USA bound, cannot go to Celebration probably. That being said, having the day to think about it and having my lovely Youtini staff to talk about this with, which I also recommend. If you don't have friends to talk out things that make you mad, get some. It really helps. This is
if you
great.
Don't pay somebody.
Don't pay somebody. No, go to therapy. But I think this is a great idea for obviously a huge section of Star Wars fans that haven't been able to go to celebrations. Like there are a ton of Asian Star Wars fans. Having it in Tokyo in 2025 is so massive. And I know there's a lot of you listening that are saving today, starting today from the US to get to Tokyo. I might be one of you. I'm probably not. I'm 99% sure I'm not, but who knows?
Maybe.
But overall, I think we can all agree, guys, that like Star Wars is so global now more than ever. And
Yeah.
despite the fact that we may not love that a lot of us probably can't go,
Mhm.
what do you think about them dedicating kind of 2 outside the U.S. celebrations in a row?
I mean, for every person in the U.S. that can't go, there's someone in an Asian country that can go, or
Exactly.
close to an Asian country. That's the other thing that we were brought up
Yeah,
today, because
right.
Youtini is a massively international team at this point. And we have 2 folks on our team, one in Hawaii and one in Australia, and both of those are in very close distance
Yeah.
to Tokyo, right?
Closer.
So
Yeah.
closer, closer. So for them to announce, it's in Indiana or something like that, or it's in Orlando, they have the same reaction that we had, right?
Yeah,
Today of
right.
like, oh my God, there's no way I can afford that. It's going to be a $1,500 plane ticket. Like, that's just insane. There's no way. It's a
Yeah.
20-hour flight. Like, so I get it. My initial reaction too was also, damn, like Tokyo is gonna be really, really hard. We looked at that plane tickets, and
Oh yeah, that was a great
they're like
communal experience for us.
$1,600 or something crazy. Like,
Patreon.com/Youtini.
I don't know.
Patreon.com/Youtini.
I know, seriously. That was the joke. So now we just have to make Youtini even more successful, so we can all afford to go and just use company money, and I can write it off my personal tax returns. So that'd be great if we can do that.
Yeah.
Dang, I lost my train of thought. We have a lot of folks on the team that have military experience and have all spent a lot of time in Tokyo too, and have all said that Tokyo is an amazing city to visit, and the culture there is fantastic, and people are really nice, and the convention center is fantastic. And once you actually get there, it's expensive to fly, but once you actually get there, the cost of living for your expenses for the trip is not like Anaheim. It's a lot cheaper. So Eric, you looked at a nice hotel across the street from the convention center. It was like $70 a night. So
it
like
was $77 right now. And let us all remember that as a community, because it will not be $77 when they open up the hotel block. But
probably not. It'll be marked up some, but still, even if it was $100 a night or $150 a night, that's still significantly cheaper.
Those London hotels were like $500 a night sometimes, like for certain rooms. So
it sucks.
Yeah,
it sucks that for some people, but I stumbled on a thread on Reddit today after the announcement. I actually went looking for it after they announced it to see what the reaction from folks were, and there was a ton of Asians that showed up in the thread. Just, oh my God, I cannot believe this is happening. Like, I've been wanting to go to a celebration since I was a kid, and like the last time they did it was 2008?
17 years ago. Yeah, so it was 2008
years ago.
2008.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? So
yeah. So to everyone that's now realizing you're able to go to your first Star Wars celebration, probably the year that a Star Wars film comes out. I mean this with no irony or anything behind it. Like, I'm thrrilled for you. That's
me too.
So awesome.
Me too.
And I'll try to be there with you. I'm gonna try.
Everybody deserves it. Yeah,
probably not.
I think it's great. I think to be honest, it might be a bad take, but I hope that they do this more, because the people that live in the United States, we are privileged to a point where we get things like this literally every year. And just because it's not Star Wars Celebration, we have other things we can do. We get access to so many things that other people don't get access to. I mean, if they held this in India, if they held this in, like, say somewhere in an African country or something, so somebody can get access to this just once in their lives, it would just put some kind of point or some kind of memory that they can latch onto for the rest of our lives. That's awesome. And
I mean, we're just talking about Visions.
Yeah,
like that's what Visions is. It's like, hey, Star Wars from all these African animation studios. Like, we can't laud that and then say, cool, you want to go to other countries where other Star Wars fans live and then get pissed about it. Like, we can be. We had a great point as we were talking about it as a staff today, where you can be sad that it's not coming by you, and I am. And that's valid. You can feel that, but you can also be so thrilled for these people that get to go to this thing for the first time.
I know.
And if you want to work that hard and get there, like it is possible. Things can happen. There's nothing like Star Wars Celebration. And
I'll tell you what, it also puts in perspective too that the next time it comes to the United States, like, you better damn well bet that I'm going to be there, because it's going to be a risk that this might be the last time for a decade. You know what I mean?
Can I tell you something real quick that I realized? Tyler, who used to be with us, and he's in our Discord now, pointed out. I don't know if you guys saw this. This means it is likely that the next celebration will be US based, because doing 2 outside the US and then doing 1 US is 99% guaranteed. That will be in 2027. Do you know what year that is, guys? That's
What's
the
that?
50th anniversary of Star
Holy
Wars.
shit!
Oh.
50th anniversary. Oh my god.
What if
So-
they hold it
Whoa, that's
in,
cool.
in like a super exclusive place, like in
Tunisia,
in Antarctica,
where Tatooine was.
At the
Celebration
homestead.
Tunisia.
Tunisia. Holy shit, that would be
Tunisia.
perfect.
Yeah.
They let us know ahead of time so we can, save up a couple bucks every day
For 4 years.
Get there.
Yeah.
We have our
But
air conditioned
realistically,
bodysuits.
That's probably where it's going. The 50th anniversary of Star Wars is probably going to be 2027. But all that being said, like the funny thing is, as we kind of wrap up our coverage here, everything we just talked about was with a slower publishing panel. And we didn't really get movie details. Like, this is why Celebration's great, because we've been talking for almost 2 hours.
Oh,
And this is
we all had such bad FOMO
slower-
just watching it. We were just like,
oh my god, yeah.
oh, why didn't
We
we
have
go?
We have so much to talk about. I'm just
Yeah.
like, I know we did. Because Eric and I, we both had tickets, right? Wes, you didn't buy
Yeah,
them,
we
I don't
did.
think,
I did.
right?
Yep, I
You
sold my
didn't buy
tickets.
them? Charles,
'Cause I
don't think
bought
you
a
them
house like a
either.
moron.
No.
I know, and you sold your tickets. Quite frankly, I'm not actually sure that I sold my tickets because
You'll find
I'm
out
pretty
tomorrow in your PayPal account.
Okay, all right, yeah, we'll see. I'm not really sure. I got conflicting email from Reed Pop, but
What?
I know, shocker, right? We had tickets and we had massive FOMO for sure. But
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, the next time it's in the US, like we got to try to get every damn person on the Youtini team there. I mean, it's just
Yep.
it makes it so much special. I mean, we didn't realize what we had, like last year. We just
Yeah.
didn't realize what we had, like that it
was
was
magical.
We didn't realize what we had this year, because now it's
know.
even further away. It's like
Now it's even
London,
further
that's
away.
so far. Oh yeah.
I know.
Hold my
I know.
beer.
Listen, Celebration is
You sure
supposed to
about
be
that?
this really crazy magical thing, and it's crazy expensive trip. I mean, it can really be a once in a lifetime thing for a lot of people. I mean, that trip costs like
Agreed.
$3,000-$4,000, right, to do that.
Yeah.
Like that's not small amount of money for 2 people. So, that's it's a big deal to get to go. I'm really excited for some folks that don't really get a lot of attention in regards to the Star Wars stuff, like to get some. That's fantastic, and I hope
I'm
the next
excited
time they
for
bring
everyone
it
to
back
get some, If you're getting some, I'm excited for you. I want you to know that. Straight from
You know what?
Flaming
I knew that's
Force.
where I was gonna go. I straight up knew that's where I was gonna go.
Cut the
As
feed.
soon as,
Let's cut
as soon as the
feed.
words are out of my mouth,
All right. See
Yeah, no. Yeah, we're it's exciting, and I mean, again, we're gonna be talking about these things for a while now. I mean, all these projects now, as much crap as we've talked about Star Wars products that have gotten canceled over time, Star Wars has now gone to all of us and said, "Hey, yo, here's what's coming. Buckle up, get excited," and we are. I think that this show has
I'm
proven
very
like
excited. I'm very
this
excited. We
weekend
have so much to digest.
gave us a
And
jump.
we this is the first time we changed our format a little bit on Living Force, and we haven't really had a lot of other content besides books and the shows to talk about on the show. And like, I am super stoked to really dive into like some speculation on what these films are going to be. Like, this is probably the
Yeah.
most fun part about Star Wars, I think, is to talk about the films. They just feel different. We've said this 1,000 times. The movies just feel different. I don't know. They're bigger. The stakes are higher. The budgets are bigger. Like,
yeah,
there's more stuff to either make you really happy or really sad.
yeah, right. It's just
You know?
different. It's a whole
I know.
wild thing. And I'm gonna say it right now, 2025. If the Star Wars movie comes out, if it's Daisy Ridley, if it's Dawn of the Jedi, if it's Filoniverse, Wes, we got to get you over to the cell so the 4 of us can go see a Star Wars movie together.
All right.
Sounds good. Also, before
Wes
we
is
get
like,
out
you're
of
buying,
here-
right?
Yeah.
That was easier than it should have been.
Patreon.com/Youtini. Speaking of which, as we get out of here, this rarely happens on the show live. We got a new patron as we're talking, guys. David Cross, new monthly patron.
Nice.
Hey.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thanks, David.
Hope you're watching and this nonsense made you happy because, gosh, I gotta say, I think it's fair to say that the last little bit of Star Wars content has been good. We've had a good time chatting, but this 10 out of 10 excitement has been a little lacking in my own life. I think that I've had a good time, but watching Daisy Ridley on that stage and seeing Phase 3 High Republic titles come out and the Ahsoka cast and like I'm just so jazzed, guys.
One thing
I'm
know.
so excited.
that we didn't mention was both Dave Filoni, who almost broke down into tears, just saying that whether you came in a cosplay or a T-shirt, it moved him almost to tears, just saying thank you for y'all just coming out here and supporting this. And then same with Hayden Christensen.
Oh my
gosh, it was short, it was sweet, but it was genuine, and like it was such a good thing to see, especially for him, and hearing that from his mouth, saying that he appreciates that kind of stuff.
I saw a lot of that online
so much
too.
to him.
Yeah.
Saw a lot of that online too. People saying like Celebration makes you remember that like Star Wars is not all the hate that's online.
Yeah.
Like the
It's
real
why
fans are not hateful, right? The real fans are fun and we're all in it and we all love it. And yeah, JG says it reinvigorated his passion. I'm like, that's just how Celebration always does it, man.
Yeah.
Like it just gets you so jacked up, even if you're watching from a distance on a YouTube channel. Like it's just it's
not
exciting.
Star Wars Expo. It's not Star Wars Gathering. It's Star Wars Celebration. That's the word. Like, and that is the vibe of the whole weekend. And y'all, if you're having some tough times coming soon or in your life, like, go on the Star Wars YouTube channel, just watch some of these panels, watch the Anthony Daniels, Anthony Carboni, 27-minute
funny, dude.
Like, just
roasting
each other.
Remember
what these people are doing and how lucky we are to have this in our lives. And I think, you know, as we get to our end here, this is what we all try to bring to you every Monday night. This is why we do it. Like, we love this thing, and we hope that when you watch our show, gosh, what an honor if we're able to give you 5% of the joy and love and passion you get from a Celebration panel, because we try to celebrate Star Wars every week, and my God, am I excited to celebrate all these products going forward. But what if they suck? Anyway, I hope they don't. But
yeah, quick shout out to Youtini team member Emma for typing her fingers to the bone to give our family and our members and everybody on the internet some access to the day one recaps and all the information that came out day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4. That's linked in the description below. Those are her write-ups, and that's all from information from the whole team, people that were on the floor there at Celebration. So the whole Youtini team especially, thank you for putting that all together for everybody, because that helps quite a bit going through one source to find what's going on within Celebration.
We'll do everything we can for you. All right, guys, before I get out of here, let's do round robin one more time, fellas. Other than the movies, I'm going to take that out. What was the announcement or moment of Celebration that either got you most hyped or most emotional, the one that's going to carry you through the rest of your year? Charles, as an aged 30-year-old now, I'm going to go to you first.
Yep. Obi-Wan season 2. That's my answer.
Which was set. We forgot.
I mean, I know it wasn't exactly announced, but like I did see that, you know, Ewan McGregor was like, "Hey, if Star Wars fans want more, I'm around."
Yeah, he was auditioning straight up. He was really campaigning.
No, but in all seriousness, I think maybe it's just like because it's the next thing coming, but that Visions trailer got me hyped, and I enjoyed season 1 so much. You know, of course, each one's very different. Some of them really resonated with me, some of them didn't. But I mean, it looks like the overall like tone of each one is going to be very different. Obviously, the animation style I think is going to be a ton of fun to talk through those. So I'm really, really jazzed about that.
Love that, Corey. What about you, man?
Oh man, I mean, I think it goes without question. Even if you did take the films off the table, that just announcing big new films is like the biggest freaking thing that's happened in the last 5 years, without a doubt. You know, I don't really think that there is just a really one moment that I'm most excited for, or one project I'm most excited for. I'm just happy to see that Star Wars is just super alive and well in general. Like the entire vibe from Celebration just really reignites a fire for those of us in this that like are content creators, and we get a lot of joy out of doing this. And a lot of times it's a shitload of work and we hate it. But a lot of times like it is not that way, and it's really fun. And yeah, I don't know. It's just exciting to see the community come together for Celebration. It's easy to get lost in the
sauce,
negativity and the sauce.
Lost in the sauce.
Lost in the sauce for sure.
Absolutely. Wes, what about you, buddy?
Mine is the Ahsoka TV series, because she said, and he's here to come back and take over as heir to the Empire. And I was like, what?
Incredible.
The book that I had first read to
I know.
kick off my Star Wars love for like the whole franchise. I was just like, I
Yep.
can't believe she said it to begin.
Yep.
And
I
I
know.
mean, Thrawn live action. Come on, it's gonna be so good.
Yeah. Huge for that. For me, it's a tie. I got anything Andor season 2, like seeing that cast
Yeah, it was great.
embrace the love for the show. Because I think we always feel like, oh, who's watching Andor? You know who's watching Andor? All 60,000 people in London. Like, that was amazing to see them get that. But also, for me, the moment where we saw Jedi Master Vernestra Rowe in The Acolyte. It
Yeah, that
was
wild. Can't believe that.
like everything that we've been loving as book fans and as Star Wars fans is now being put on the big
Validation.
screen for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
we didn't
incredible.
we didn't talk about this at all. With the most immediate project that's coming is Jedi Survivor comes out in just a couple
Oh
weeks.
my god, right? That last
True.
gameplay
And,
trailer where he
we
threw
got
a
that-
stormtrooper into a TIE fighter.
Man, that was badass, dude. We got that gameplay trailer. Freaking actor that plays Cal Kestis gave his poncho to a couple cosplayers that were dressed as Cal and Marin.
Yeah!
That was the coolest shit I've ever seen. Like,
Put him in Star Wars. Put him in a movie. Just do
I
it.
know.
Just
He
do it.
tweeted. That guy tweeted that it smelled nice. That was really funny.
Yep.
That was
Uh,
it was good times, man, all around.
Yeah. Also, if any of y'all listening or watching need validation, I did take the day off of work when Jedi Survivor's coming out. So feel free, do it. Join me. It's not dumb. You're allowed to. Who cares? What are you gonna do? It's a Friday.
Corey, you should probably pre-order it.
I hate pre-ordering games. I make an exception for Star Wars though.
Hey,
what date
there we
what date does
go.
it come out? Do you guys know off the top of your head?
April 28th.
28th, yeah.
Oh,
And if you
shit, that
pre-order the
is
deluxe, then you
very
get the Han
soon.
Solo jacket, you get the Luke victory jacket of Bespin or of Yavin.
Sent to your house. It's tangible.
Dude, that's
You get to wear it.
I'm coming off of that's my first day off after working for like a
That is
week. So
Look, see,
I
they
am
knew the Force is with you.
jacked for that, bro.
All right,
Pay it in
baby.
your sim rig.
Oh my god, dude! Listen, I play all my video games in my sim rig now.
We'll talk about it. We'll have a show all about it. But everyone, first of all, just thank you. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. Go to Youtini.com. Make sure you're caught up on all the coverage that you need. We're going to be keeping you up to date on everything with all these projects, but not tonight. Because, my friends, that'll do it for this week's episode of The Living Force. If you support us on Patreon, thank you so much. And a special thank you to Brian Dooley, Earl Q, Carl Sander, and Zach W. on our Jedi High Council, and James T., Ashley Ingalls, and Chris Carrizo on our Alliance High Command. You can find us on Twitter at Eric Eilerson, at Corey M. Helton, at C. Henkel, at Boss West, and at Living Force Pod. A special thank you to Matt Davenport, our amazing editor, Ryan, our graphic designer extraordinaire, and Wes, our producer and community manager. Thank you to Corey, Charles, and Wes for potting with me tonight. Thanks to all of you for hanging out and celebrating Star Wars. And as always, may the Force be with you.